Are you ready to dive into the exciting world of Wuthering Waves, armed to the teeth with powerful weapons that can decimate your foes? Well, you've come to the right place. In today's video, we'll showcase all of the weapons available in the game. From the razor-sharp Luster Razor to the versatile Helios Cleaver, the broad blade weapons in Wuthering Waves offer a range of abilities to suit your combat style. So let's delve into the unique powers of each blade. With the Luster Razor, energy regen has increased by 12.8%. When resonance skills hits the target, resonance liberation damage is increased by 8%. This effect can stack up to 2 times and last for 12 seconds. The Verdant Summit will increase all the damage to 12%. Each time an entry skill or resonance liberation is cast, the damage of heavy attack is increased by 24% and it can be stacked 2 times and the effect lasts for 40 seconds. For the Autumn Trace, after the basic attack or heavy attack hits, the character attacks increase by 10%, the defense increase by 18%, and it lasts for 10 seconds. It can be stacked up to 3 times. For the Gauntlets Weapons, when HP is above 80%, attack is increased by 8%, and when the HP is below 15%, hitting enemies with basic attacks and heavy attacks restore 50 HP. And this effect can be triggered once every 8 seconds. For the Discord, for every resonance skill used, restore 8 concerted energy. It can be triggered once every 20 seconds. For the Helios Cleaver, the character's attack increased by 3% every 2 seconds with 12 seconds of hit appearance and can be stacked up to 4 times. When the number of layers reach 4, all layers are rested within 6 seconds. For the Broad Blade of Night, within 20 seconds of entering the battlefield, the wearer's attack is increased by 8% for 2 seconds up to 4 times. This effect can reset 6 seconds after 4 stacks are gained. For the Broad Blade of Voyager, when using the resonance skills, recover 8 points of resonance energy, which can trigger 1 time every 20 seconds. For the Guardian's Broad Blade, the damage of basic attacks and heavy attacks is increased by 12%. For the Originate Type 1, when entering the battlefield and triggering a concert effect, attack is increased by 3% for 5 seconds. Now the Tire Broad Blade will increase your attack by 5%, and finally the Training Broad Blade will increase your attack by 4%. Crush your enemies with the mighty Abyss Surges of Defend Your Lives with Amity Accord. Gauntlets in Wuthering Waves are not just for show. They pack a punch with abilities that can turn the tide of battle in your favor. For the Abyss Surges, energy regen is increased by 12.8%. Where resonance skills hits a target, basic attack damage is increased by 10%. When basic attacks hits the target, resonance skills damage is increased by 10% and lasts for 8 seconds. For the Amity Accord, when dodging or dashing, attack is increased by 20%, and parry damage is increased by 15 for 8 seconds. Parry restores HP when hitting enemies, and it can be triggered once every 6 seconds. For the Hollow Mirage, after casting Resonance Liberation, you get 3 layers of the Iron Armor effect. Each layer increases attacks and defense by 3%. You can stack up to 3 layers, and each time you take damage it increases by 1 layer. For the Marcato, every resonance skills used restore 8 concerto energy. It can be triggered once every 20 seconds. For the Stoned, after casting the resonance skills, the damage of your own resonance liberation increases by 18% and the effect lasts for 15 seconds. For the Gauntlets of Night, gain 3 stacks of armor after releasing Resonance Liberation. Each stack increases attack and defense by 8% up to 3 stacks, loses 1 stack when receiving damage. For the Gauntlets of Voyager, when used in a resonance skill, it restores 8 points of resonance energy and can be triggered 1 time every 20 seconds. For the Guardian Gauntlets, the damage of resonance liberation increased by 12%. For the Originate Type 4, when a basic attack hits the target, it restores 0.5% of the health and can trigger 1 time every 3 seconds. Now the Tire Gauntlets will increase your attack by 5% and the Training Gauntlets will increase your attack by 4%. Ready, aim, fire. Pistols in Wuthering Waves like the Static Mist and Thunderbolt brings a level of precision and damage to your arsenal. Discover how these weapons can give you the edge in intensive combat situations. For the Static Mist, energy regen has increased by 12.8% and after performing all 3 skills, attack for party member is increased by 10%. This effect can stack up for one time and last for 14 seconds. For the cadenza, for every resonance skill used, it restores 8 concerto energy. It can be triggered once every 20 seconds. For the Nova Burst, when the character dashes or dodges, the attack increases by 4% for 8 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. For the Thunderbolt, after the basic attack or heavy attack hits, the damage of the resonance skills increases by 7% for 10 seconds. It can be stacked up to 3 times. For the Undying Flame, attack is increased by 20% every 5 seconds while the character does not receive damage. It stacks up to 2 times, lasting for 8 seconds. Taking damage restores 1 stack and restores 15 HP to the character. For the Guardian Pistols, the damage of the resonance skills increases by 12%. For the Original Type 3, when a dodge counterattack hits the target, it restores 1.6% of its own health and can trigger one time every 6 seconds. For the Pistols of Night, when the wearer's dodges or dashes, attack is increased by 8% for 8 seconds and stack up to 3 times. For the Pistols of Voyager, when used in resonance skills, it restores 8 points of resonant energy and can trigger one time every 20 seconds. The Tire Pistols will increase your attack by 5%, and finally the Training Pistols will increase your attack by 4%. Precision and strategy are key with the Rectifier Weapons in Wuthering Waves. Whenever it's a healing problems of the Comet Flare or the damage boost from the Cosmic Ripples, these weapons will ensure you are prepared for any challenge. The Cosmic Ripples will increase your energy regen by 12.8%. When basic attacks hit the target, basic attack damage is increased by 3.2%. This effect can stack up to 5 times and last for 8 seconds. For the String Master, all resonance damage is increased by 12%, and after casting Resonance Liberation or Ultra skills, the attack is increased by 12%. And the effects are independent and can be stacked up to 2 layers. This effect can last for 2 seconds. For the augment, after casting Resonance Liberation, the self-attack increases by 15% and lasts for 15 seconds. For the Comet Flare, when dealing damage with basic attacks or heavy attacks, the healing bonus increases by 3% lasting for 8 seconds, and it can be stacked up to 3 times and triggered once every 0.6 seconds. For the Jason Keeper, when casting either skills, your attack increased by 8% and your HP increased by 15% lasting for 15 seconds. For the variation, for every resonance skill used restores 8 concerto energy. It can be triggered once every 20 seconds. For the Guardian Rectifier, the damage of basic attacks and heavy attacks are increased by 12%. When you enter the battlefield with the Original Type 5 and trigger a concerto effect, attack is increased by 5% for 5 seconds. For the Rectifier of Night, healing effect increased by 8% when basic attacks or heavy attacks deal damage for 8 seconds. You can stack up to 3 times and this can be triggered once every 0.6 seconds. For the Rectifier of Voyager, when used in the Resonance skills, recover 8 points of Resonance which can trigger one time every 20 seconds. The Tire Rectifier increases your attack by 5% and the Training Rectifier will increase your attack by 4%. Summon your inner warriors with the sword weapons in Wuthering Waves. From the Emerald of Genesis to the Lunar Cutter, each blade offers unique enhancements to your combat abilities, making you a force to be reckoned with on the battlefield. Your energy regen will increase 12.8% when using the Emerald of Genesis. When Resonance skills hits the target, attack is increased by 6%. This effect can stack up to 2 times and last for 10 seconds. For the Commando of Conviction, when your HP is below 15%, damage is increased by 15 for heavy attacks, and hitting enemies with this heavy attack will restore your HP. The healing effect can be triggered once every 8 seconds. For the Looming Gloss, after casting the Resonance skill, the damage of the basic attack and the heavy attack increase by 20% and lasts for 10 seconds. For the Lunar Cutter, after a character appears, it gains 6 layers of the Oath effect. Each layer will increase the attack by 2% and can stack up to 6 layers and trigger one time every 12 seconds. These stats decrease by 1 layer every 2 seconds, and when the target is defeated, it gains an additional 6 layers of the Oath effect. For the Guardian Sword, the damage of the Resonance skills increased by 12% when you enter the battlefield with the Original Type 2 and trigger the Concert effect, attack is increased by 5% for 5 seconds. For the Sword of the Night, for every 12 seconds, the wearer gains 6 stacks of Oathkeeper upon entering the battlefield. Each stack of this Oathkeeper will increase attack by 8% up to 6 times. Each stack is removed every 2 seconds. A Additionally, gain 6 stacks of Oathbreaker upon defeating any enemy. For the Sword of Voyager, when using the Resonance skill, you can recover 8 points of Resonance energy and trigger it one time every 20 seconds. The Tire Sword will increase your attack by 5%, and last, the Training Sword will increase your attack by 4%. And that brings us to the end of the video. So are you excited to wield these weapons in Wuthering Waves? Let us know in the comment section below which weapon you should pick. And also remember, the best way to streamline your game experience is to play on your PC with BlueStacks. Better graphics, performance, and a ton of awesome features to improve your gaming experience. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe and hit the notification bell icon for more gaming content. Thank you very much for watching, and bye bye.